people of this fact too. It can be open note. Okay, yep. So please be ready. Get logged into Canvas so you can use that full 20 minutes. Yeah, if you don't know, there should be a quiz tab on Canvas on our course Canvas site that will take you to that first quiz. It should open up at 4:40, and you can launch the quiz. I wish you good luck. Let me know if anything weird happens or technical issues or something like that. It is open note, so you can go to previous slides and presentations and lecture agendas if you want to. Okay? Let's get some music going. Until then. Let's see here. Have any of you heard this song before? Pumpkin Hill, Sonic Adventure 2? The fun thing about this song is that I feel like it conveys the story and Knuckles' character probably better than the actual game does. Just listening to the lyrics, it's pretty good stuff. It's a weird game. My memories of that game are so much better than... When I go back to play it, here's the thing though. No game has more scuffed ports, a more scuffed chain of ports than Sonic Adventure 2 does. It's very hard to play the original Dreamcast version, which is the most polished, the best version of the game. And every port that they make, they start from the previous messed up port. And it just gets more messed up. So every time as time goes on, the game actually gets objectively worse. Maybe one day we'll get a remake that kind of restores it. Or maybe I think the fans have a bunch of patches and mods out to try and restore it to the Dreamcast quality. Maybe. This would be great to release a game themed on the movie, right? They used to do that. And big Hollywood films coming out, here comes the game. They usually weren't that great, but I still love them. Yes.
You heard of AI getting training data from other AI?
Oh.
Production that you get AI data into the AI training data.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, people are worried about it. It's like AI Kepler syndrome, you know?
I think what's happening is that models that are working already have some. But for the ones that don't,
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes until the quiz opens. A reminder to anyone watching this online or remotely, this is an open note test, so don't look at other people's screens or work or answers, but you can refer back to anything you want, okay, in the course. So go to those previous lectures, go to the syllabus if you want to, and grab those points. The final exam, the midterm exam in early April will not be as kind. You will not have open notes. So keep that in mind. One minute remains before the quiz opens. Please begin it promptly. The quiz should now be open. Ladies and gentlemen, you have about 10 minutes remaining. Ladies and gentlemen, you have around 5 minutes remaining. If you ever complete a quiz and you believe a question was not a good question, it was not a very fair question, please email me. I really appreciate your feedback, and eventually we run this course enough times, we iterate it enough, and the quizzes get to a good place, okay? So, well done. I saw a lot of very good scores as I was walking around. You did a good job. Contrary to what the discussion said, they will not all be that easy, okay? But they will all be open note, and they're really going to be meant to try and help you understand where is your knowledge level at that point in the course. If you do end up getting a poor quiz grade, it's not a huge deal, but it is a hint that your knowledge level in a certain area might be a bit lower than you want it to be at that point in the course. Do some studying, bring your knowledge level up, and you'll find the assignments start getting easier as well. Okay? All right, so we've got a shortened lecture today. We got to move kind of fast, and we're going to do exactly that. I want to show you one of my favorite game engines ever. This is not a part of that Unity Unreal Engine duopoly. That's just, just wrecking the engine marketplace. This is, however, a famous engine, a very well-respected engine, and one that has some punch, okay? It punches well above its weight. This is the famous RPG Maker. Have you ever messed with RPG Maker or played a game that uses it? Okay, so RPG Maker, known for classics like AO Oni, okay, which you see up here, known for games like The Witch's House, okay? Anyone heard of The Witch's House? House on Steam, okay? RPG Maker games, as opposed to things like MIT Scratch, they hit hard. Witch's House, 3,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. This game available for $15. It is, that's some serious money, okay? People really do a great job with RPG Maker games, and it's a real deal engine. Now, this is an engine that is what we like to call exceptionally opinionated, okay? Much like Mugen, which we looked at on Monday. Mugen, the fighting game engine. If you want to build anything that is not a fighting game, Mugen is going to fight you tooth and nail. Likewise, if you want to make an RPG, then RPG Maker has everything that you need. It's going to give you incredible defaults. You're going to have a reasonable RPG game going within about 5 minutes. Now, if you want to do anything else in the engine, you're going to be fighting against it pretty hard. It's going to become very nasty to work with. I'm shocked that games like The Witch's House were made in this engine because The Witch's House is not really an RPG. There are no battles, there aren't really level ups or experience points. It's a puzzle game set on a grid, and actually it more resembles an action game, okay, than an RPG. So whatever attracted people to RPG Maker for all these action horror games like AO Oni, it worked, okay? It was released initially in 1992 by a company called ASCII Corporation. The website is right here. It's a bit of a crazy website, okay? But you see what kind of tools it can provide right off the bat. You've got a tile editor. You've got these wonderful built-in menus. You've got a built-in battle system. All of it can be customized. One crazy thing you discover when you look into RPG Maker, which of these versions should you buy? This is the question I faced when I bought the RPG Maker to show it to you last year. Should you buy RPG Maker MZ or maybe MV? Perhaps you need VX, but not the normal VX, but the VX Ace version. Okay? Well, scroll down a bit. They've got VX, they've got XP, they've got Manga Maker in here for some reason. They got Visual Novel Maker. I think they even have a RPG Maker for the Switch. I thought I recently saw them come out with a Switch edition, which seems kind of neat. This was $80 I had to pay. Okay, so this is a unique business model for engines. It's not the typical royalty-based model where they don't make money until you make money. They charge you upfront $80 to get started, okay? And if you think you're going to have fewer titles and those titles are going to make less money, then this is a reasonable business model alternative, because if very few RPG Maker games really make enough money, then the royalties don't add up and you're in trouble. I remember paying $200 for Adobe Flash Professional, right? A game engine that might show up later in the course. And I did that in middle school. That was a lot of money for me in middle school. Still is a lot of money. But this business model used to be much more dominant, the pay for an engine model, okay? Remember, you used to have to license Unreal Engine for several $1,000,000. Now it's a royalty model. You get it for free. It works for them. When you create a new project, you have a party system. You get 4 characters. You get overworld movement, a battle screen, a title screen. Let's go ahead and take a look, actually. So I've got RPG Maker right in here. It's a little executable. This is MZ, I guess. That's the one that I got. And here it is, okay? So it's kind of a pretty simple interface. I can zoom in. We've got kind of a tile editor here. And what I'm going to do right away is I'm going to go in and I'm just going to launch the game. I think this is the game that we made last semester from scratch. The first time we ran this course. I'm going to click playtest. We did very little work, 5 minutes of work last year. This is what we ended up with. We got the custom title screen background. This is EECS 498, the Hour of Power. And we've got a nice options menu. Look at this blur effect behind the menu. It's gorgeous, okay? Can go backward. I can use the mouse, but I can also use the arrow keys. I'm going to go new game, okay? Here we are, and I can click to walk around, and I can walk around, and I can press escape to go check out my characters here, okay? We got items. Do we have? No, we don't have any items. Skills? Got any? No skills. You can tell this is a new project. Anything? Oh, we got some items, okay? Yeah, okay, we got some stats. We can save. You just get a save system for free. You don't have to code anything. We've got a zombie over here. Okay, so I'm going to talk to the zombie. Okay, should we refuse to give our brains to the zombie, or should we give our brains to the zombie? Okay, give our brains to the zombie. Okay, should we refuse? All right, we're joining the zombies. Okay, here we go. Oh. Okay, so it didn't work out for us, right? But we get all these wonderful screens. I'm actually going to go fight that zombie now and see what we can do here. Hi, monster. Okay, so we've got this attack system that's pretty basic. Each character gets to queue up a move. We've got some special moves that come kind of by default. I can guard to defend. No items, though, so I'll attack, okay? Okay, we goes through the turns for each character. We got the stat system here. Is it going to attack us? Did it attack us? Casey did. Oh, Casey took some damage, yeah. Can we run? We cannot run from this fight, okay? All right, so you can see we've got some good stuff here. I think there's a map editor in here. Map, yeah, switches to map editing mode. Can I click on a top? Can I add a whirlpool? Yeah, I can add some whirlpools here. I can add some snow in the top right corner. This is where the mountain area begins, if you head up here, maybe. I think maybe I can add in some characters, too. It's been a year since I used this. What on earth? Character generator. I can generate some characters. That's kind of cool. I can give them beast hairs. I can randomize. Okay, so I'm getting these random characters. Anyway, there's one last thing I want to show you. In the tools option, there are resource managers for managing different items you can add to the game, events, sounds. There's this database tab in which you can customize actors, so you can add more characters to the game. You can add enemies to the game. So we've got this high monster right here, which we created. We've got this tree monster. We can adjust its stats. Oh my gosh, hey, say you want to beat the game. I'm going to change the HP to 1, okay? And now we're going to go in. We're going to go in and we're going to fight that enemy and see if we can win the game, okay? See what happens when we defeat the enemy. Okay, real quick, and then we'll move on. Oh, continue. No, I don't want to load a file. Let's go fight the zombie, which then turns into a horse thing. Okay, and I'm going to just attack this thing. Leveled up, we learned a new attack, strong attack learned. Okay, great. The zombie's still here, though. So I think I can fight him again. Yeah, okay. So I think you need to put in some more logic to say, hey, I want this to despawn the overworld character. But you can see the appeal here, right? If what you value in your game's design is mainly the story, okay? The story and the characters and the art is where this game is going to shine. We just need any battle system. We need any inventory system. Then grabbing this off the shelf might be perfect. Better than, for instance, grabbing Unity or Unreal off the shelf. Because this is tailored to exactly the kind of game that you want to make, the genre you want to make, okay? And so keep that in mind. You can make a very general purpose engine, but you can also really make it happen and make your niche in the market by targeting a very specific and focused group. We're just going to cater to the RPG fans. That is it, okay? And you can still defeat these dominant engines like Unity and Unreal. You can still carve out your niche by doing that. Okay. Some other things, JavaScript-based plugin system. So if you really want to get funky, you can do it. The last thing I'll say is that Crisis Wolverine, which is the famous U of M-themed game made by the founders of Wolverine Soft in like 1999. Okay, you play as a U of M undergraduate on campus during spring break when suddenly the Spartans attack. And they're trying to summon Satan in the big house, and you got to stop them, okay? Right, yeah, so you got to fight them, and you got to take them out. About a 4-hour JRPG. It's a pretty great time. I think you get some extra credit, actually. Do you? For completing the game and proving it, taking it. So, yep, you get some extra credit in this course for playing through the game and proving it. So keep that in mind, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get to the main objective of the day. So our main objective today is actually going to be to talk about your upcoming homework because on Monday it's MLK Day, which means we're not going to have any lecture. We will launch the first auto-graded assignment, Game Loops and Text Adventures. And this is going to be your first auto-graded assignment, your first C++ assignment. This is when the course starts to get really real. Okay, not going to be super difficult, but you've only got a week, okay? So you really don't want to sleep on it either. This assignment, we're going to go through it. We're going to talk through what it is, what it's going to be like. I'll run the instructor solution for you. I'll even show you the solution code, okay? We'll talk about that autograder, okay? The autograders aren't working yet. I'm going to get them running over the weekend, and they will automatically generate a Git repo for you, and they're going to email you with that link. So you can log in, you can clone it down, you can start building your project, okay? All right, some quick announcements. Your game engine code base, it doesn't begin today, but it'll begin on Monday. You're going to see an email in your inbox. The subject line will be something like this. EECS498 game engine repo with your unique name is now ready, okay? You might want to create a filter for the EECS498 tag because you're going to get a lot of emails in this course. For instance, when you're finished auto-grading, an email will come through and you will get your grade, okay? It's going to be a lot of those emails, probably. You will have a repository called game_engine_unique name, and it's going to be available at the EECS GitLab, okay? Don't make a mistake here. There is gitlab.com, and that is GitLab, okay? You can use it. It's the cloud version of GitLab. But there's also EECS personal version of GitLab. The U of M CS department set up this GitLab instance for you to have your own private projects on, okay? And so this is what we actually care about. But don't worry, you're going to get that link in the email that gets sent, okay? We recommend you clone it as soon as you can. We really highly recommend you use GitHub Desktop in this course, okay? If you are a master at using the Git command prompt, the Git terminal, Git bash, Totally fine. You can keep using that, rock and roll. If you're like me and you're like 80% comfortable with Git and all of its different commands, and wait, why is the Git broken? Why are my permissions messed up? I can't clone for some reason. I set up the SSH key, didn't I? No, I guess not. Use this program. This is GitHub for desktop. And despite the fact that GitHub has made this app, you can use this with any repo you want, okay? Even GitLab. It's really fantastic, okay? It gives you a phenomenal user experience, okay? Here's an example. If I go into the homework 3 solution, nice, right? And I go into the make file, I'm being very generous by showing this to you. Okay, here's the make file you need to write. This is actually getting the make file to work was like the bane of students' existence last year. I think a lot of us don't quite know or understand how make works, but don't worry, we'll walk you through it, we'll get you going. If I add a space bar and then save this right here, I've edited the file. Now, GitHub for desktop will tell me, hey, you edited this file. By the way, here's the edit you made. So it'll diff it for you as well. Fantastic. If I want to push this, I can make a commit right here, blah, 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 blah. And then I make the commit, I push it. You know how you grade things in this course, how you send things to the autograder? Here's what you do. You write, please grade, okay? That's a special keyword, key phrase, okay? You write, please grade, and then a homework code. So homework 3, okay? And then Windows, Mac, or Linux. So I want the Windows version graded, okay? You create a commit message that has this line. If you commit and then push it using this button up here to the repo, our autograders will see that, and then about 5 minutes later to 10 minutes later, you'll get an email saying, we finished grading that commit, here's your grade, okay? Cool. So anyway, that's what you do. I recommend you use this program. It is simply fantastic. It helps you with permission issues if you're struggling to get things cloned, which I always seem to struggle with for some reason. And so give it a shot, okay? It's good stuff, very good stuff. Please do not underestimate Visual Studio, Xcode, and Make. I just showed you the Make file, right? It's likely going to take you a couple hours to get these project files working in your repo, okay? Getting that Visual Studio project file set up so that it builds on the autograder properly, it's not a big thing, but the first time or two, it's not a small thing either, okay? Fortunately, there are guides in the assignment spec that are going to help you out. Okay, I'm going to show you another cool thing, okay? I'm going to show you another cool thing. Let's go 498I. This is the special super secret schedule that has everything on it that you don't get to see. I can look at the homework early. Okay, so here's the homework assignment spec. Okay, we predict about 10 hours on this homework assignment. You got 7 days. What is that? It's a bit over an hour per day, okay? That's not a ton so long as you put in that time each day. But if you skip a few days, that's going to be a problem for you, okay? That builds up and gets nasty really fast. What you're going to do is you're going to go through this assignment, and as part of the assignment, you're going to set up some dependencies. You'll get some tips for how to do this. There is an autograder guide that you will read, and it will kind of explain how the autograder works and how to submit things for each platform. There's a Windows and Visual Studio setup guide that you'll follow to kind of get your Visual Studio Windows building on the autograder. This is all to say that you'll receive some help as you get into this assignment, okay? A lot's going on, but I think that you're going to make it through. Everyone did last semester, okay? Let's head on back. Let's see here. If you are not feeling super good with C++ or you want a refresher, then this reading, which you can find on the schedule, C++ refresher, might be a good quick viewing. There's some great videos in there, some great reminders of important data structures, and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and let's talk about that homework 3 and what you're going to be doing, okay? Let's grab the homework 3 link, and we'll just get it going here. Here we go. Okay. So homework 3 is, I think, an assignment that's going to feel kind of familiar to you. It is kind of an EECS 280 or 281 style assignment. I don't think you'll find it especially hard, and I'll tell you, this is by far the worst instructor solution in the entire course. What does that mean? That means you should be able to outrun and outperform the instructor solution pretty easily. The performance requirements on this homework, not too hard, okay? I guess I programmed it poorly. Like all the other homework instructor solutions are pretty fast, and you'll have to optimize and do some of that. Probably not on homework 3, though. Maybe I just want to give you an easy first assignment, right? Get going fast. If you actually, on any test case, this is a bit of an Easter egg, but if you outperform the instructor solution for any test case, I think by 20%, you'll get a special message, okay? And a special gift on the, not extra points or anything, but you'll get a little gift under the test case on the grade report, okay? So homework 3 is about game loops and text adventures. We want to get that first game loop set up. Game loops are a very standard thing. We'll talk about them more probably next week. But text adventures are something you've probably heard of. Has anyone played a text adventure game? Okay, a number of you, right? This is a genre that has a really storied history. And it's a genre that's very important to the early days of games, and especially games on PC and on computer, okay? This is Colossal Cave Adventure 1976, one of the earliest games ever made, and it was a text adventure game. It had a lot of reading, and it was kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure kind of storybook-style game, okay? In 1980, we started to see games that put a bit more effort into showing you exactly where you were in the game world. Before, in Colossal Cave Adventure, you would get kind of a description of where you are and what you're looking at, and you'd have to enter command to do something, okay? In Rogue, you got this top-down view, okay? Where, for instance, I think you might be one of these letters. I can't remember which one. But you're, let's say, this letter, and you can walk through the room and go to different rooms, okay? And they would represent things via ASCII art. Very basic, very primitive way to represent things, but it worked, okay? And these games were still effective and still immersive on the strength of their ideas and their writing, okay? You're going to combine these two things in this first homework 3 assignment, okay? You're going to have a game that looks kind of like this, okay? The P stands for player, okay? The P stands for player. The S up here stands for Spartans, okay? The Spartans, the theme of this game you're making is, it's kind of a follow-up to Crisis Wolverine. The Spartans have taken over the Duderstadt Center. You spawn in this room, and you actually have to escape through those double doors. You can see them right there. And you need to exit the building. The theme is that you've got the autograder in your hands, and they're trying to destroy it. You have to get out here and reach me, okay? The B's stand for block, okay? So you can't go through those. Those are physical blocks, okay? Collision detection is here. And then these 3 characters are actually NPCs. So if you get near them, you'll see some additional dialogue down here. You've got some statistics down here, okay? Health 3, score 0. And I feel like I want to show you what this looks like. Okay, so I'm going to show you the code that finishes the homework 3 homework. Okay, are you ready? You can use, hey, I'm going to be nice. You can use this code to finish the homework. Okay, you don't even have to credit me. Okay, here you go. All right, very good. You can take this code. You don't even have to ask me for it. When I run this in Visual Studio, I get this command prompt. You get this intro text. Okay, blah, 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 blah. The Spartans are salty about our game dev program over here. They've decided to come and steal the autograder, and so you've got to escape from the Duderstadt Center. So you can press W to move to the west, okay? And you'll get another rendering of the gameplay screen, and we're moving to the west, okay? It's a bit easier to see now toward the bottom of the screen. We get to that B block and we can't move. If you look toward the top here, you can see that the Spartans, the S's, are walking around, okay? If we get near the W, I think this is a Wolverine Soft member. One of your Wolverine classmates is nearby. Hey, be careful. Some Spartans are sneaking around over there. Stay far away and slip past if you can. It looks like some of the other students are panicking, which I told them not to do, and now they're lost in the darkness. Look for their F icon, friend, and go see if you can calm them down. Then get out of there and find Professor Yarger. Okay, let's go talk to the 494 student. There's an EECS 494 student working on her laptop nearby. She looks busy and doesn't want to talk. Okay, that's pretty standard. Okay, we talk to this person. Oh, you spot a nearby friend in the darkness. I'm glad I'm not alone. I'll sit here and rest a bit. Thanks. Score up. Okay, whenever this score up text appears in dialogue, that causes the score to go up. It only goes up once, so you have to store this fact so that players can't keep going back and forth and getting score, okay? When you walk near a Spartan, they will attack you and you'll lose some health, okay? It says, hey, you, the Spartan throws a fake plastic spear at you. It bounces off but kind of hurts your ego health down. And the game will end when you run out of health. There's also one big S, that is literally Sparty himself, and he will sit on you and end the game immediately, okay? Anyway, that is the situation and what you're kind of build. There's a map. There are multiple characters walking around. You'll have to get them doing that. You'll have to write the collision detection, scoring, dialogue, stuff like that, okay? One thing I'll point out, in this class, you're going to be building some pretty big things, some complex projects and games even. Well, not games, but you'll be building your game engine so that it can run ever more complicated games. Now, the way that these assignments are designed is very, very helpful. In general, test cases build up. So you don't have to build the whole project in order to start submitting and earning points, okay? If you look down here, we follow test-driven development. This is in your assignment spec. The idea here is that you implement a tiny bit of functionality and then you submit to the autograder. Okay, you can submit as many times as you want. There's no penalty to doing so. And you see if you can knock down a few test cases. Once you've got those test cases, the next few test cases build on top of those. So now you can attack the next few test cases, okay? So for instance, the first suite of tests is just about doing a basic initial render of the map. There's no movement. There's no collisions you have to care about. There's no dialogue, okay? You just do that and you're good. Then you'll do player movement, so you implement that, you get some more points. Wall collisions, NPC dialogue, right? NPC collisions, NPCs that move, dialogue commands, okay? In general, and then at the very end, you have the evil test cases that are performance test cases, okay? Where we'll have you walk around not 5 times, but 10,000 times and see what your performance is in your engine, okay? But the thing to keep in mind is this. You do a little bit of work, you submit. A little bit more work, you submit. And you shouldn't, in general, try not to move on to test cases before you've completed some of the earlier ones, okay? Finish up a suite as best as you can and then move on, because each suite kind of builds upon the rest, okay? The ones that came before. That's my advice, and you'll find that advice in the assignment spec in case you forget. Okay, let's keep moving, all right? Text adventures. Text adventures, they are a lot of fun, all right? There's an intro cutscene in the text adventure. There's an outro. There are a couple different endings in the game that you will implement. You will get a map helper.h file that will actually help you print out and deal with a lot of these entity placements, okay? The map placements, you won't have to code up and hard code the exact map. I give that to you. And so you'll want to get that map helper.h file. This week, all of the content in this game you're making is hard coded, okay? If you say to yourself, well, I want to customize this game, can't do it, okay? Can't do it. So, next week, we'll be making this much more general purpose, okay? Homework 4 makes things more general purpose. But you should ask yourself, wait a second, are we making a game engine right now, or are we making a game? Okay? Because here's the thing. Are you a game developer, or are you a game engine developer? Is this 494, or is this 498007, okay? Content is going to be hard-coded in this first auto-graded assignment. So This coming week, you're going to be a game dev. But next week, you become an engine dev, okay? Here's how it goes. You make a game, and then you make another game. The things that you reuse become the engine, okay? We're going to take this game that we build for homework 3, and we're going to start generalizing it. We're going to start abstracting things away. We're going to start pulling things out of that hard code, moving them to files, text files, okay, JSON files, things that can be edited by the user so they can mod the game. Make your game moddable enough, and that starts to look more like a game engine, okay? And that's how you get to being a game engine. That's super flexible. Remember, the Unreal Engine began as a single game, Unreal. But the tech was great, so they wanted to reuse it. They generalized a bunch of stuff. Suddenly, it's an engine, and you're using it for other games. Eventually, it's so flexible, you're using it for like films and architecture and stuff like that. It's so cool. Anyway, I've got some tips for you on this assignment we're beginning next week, okay? You really should start early, okay? This first assignment, homework 3, is not super spicy or anything. But, you know, these assignments, they stack, okay? This is a particular spice that you might not have tasted unless you have taken the old EECS 381, which was legendary for being very hard. I don't think this course is as hard as 381. It's not even as hard as 494. But these assignments do stack, okay? So the text adventure you make this week, if you do a great job, then next week is easier. And if you do a great job on homework 4, then homework 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 get easier. But if you have a bad week, okay, well, you have to build upon that nasty foundation starting with the next homework, okay? So you want to be careful, all right? And you want to do the best job you can. Start early. You don't need to have a perfect submission to move on to the next homework just fine, but you want to be careful, okay? Visual Studio and Xcode have a tendency to troll people pretty badly, okay, and just burn up time with really weird, obscure little errors and UI issues and stuff like that, okay? We can usually help you through those pretty quickly in office hours, but just keep that in mind. You want to give yourself time to run into those issues, okay? If Xcode is trolling you in the first couple days of an assignment, that's no big deal. You'll figure it out or go to office hours, you're fine. If you wait until the final day before the deadline or the final day, the deadline day, it's going to be really nasty fighting Xcode for those final few points, okay? Yeah, you might burn 2 hours just getting Xcode to make your first build work, okay? That's just how it goes. Code quality and keeping that code hygienic is going to be paramount. What does it mean to keep code clean, to keep code decoupled and easy to expand? We'll talk about that more as the course goes on, okay? You're going to want to use functions, though, at a base. You're going to want to use some classes, all right? Use your IDE and pay attention to any warnings it provides, okay? Errors will prevent you from building, but warnings typically prevent you from introducing bugs in a way that you don't understand, okay? Subtle, hidden bugs that will bite you, okay? You want to refactor when you can, but don't go crazy or overthink it, okay? All right, submit to the AutoGrader often. This is test-driven development. You have unlimited submissions, and the AutoGrader will let you know if you made a change that broke some test cases, okay? That's regression testing. The AutoGrader, hey, if you pass the first 10 test cases and then you add a new feature and then you've broken something, well, it'll tell you, and you can go back and fix that pretty quickly. Yes?
Since everything builds, if you want to use an AutoGrader to test for regression testing on a later assignment, will it make the assignment late if you've had like a full score on the AutoGrader in that week?
In general, we'll talk about the AutoGrader in just a moment, but the AutoGrader will never lower your score, okay? The AutoGrader will only increase your score. And so if you have a really bad submission, let's say you get full points on homework 3, but then you rerun it for some reason and you get a really bad result. It doesn't even build. You broke something. You're keeping that super high grade. And it'll just let you know that, hey, you got a bad grade on this try, but we didn't enter it because it's not your best, okay? That's how it goes. Some quick reminders. No teams are allowed in this course, but we do hope that you will communicate with each other a bit, okay? Discuss your challenges you're facing and what you might do about it. Keep things high level. Talk about data structures and your algorithms and functions you're using. Don't show your code to other people in general. You keep to that one rule, you're going to be fine, okay? The cheat detection software will not get you at the end of the semester. You'll be fine. Make use of your office hours. We have quite a bit of them this semester. And don't be afraid to revisit old lectures and old workshops, okay? You may use any code from the course staff without credit. You don't have to worry about it. And a reminder, the late penalty is 20%. That's not great, but you may submit any time until that autograder off date following the exam, okay? Any code you didn't write, like code you get from a AI assistant or from Stack Overflow or something like that, we want to know about it. Copy and paste the code into a credits.txt file at the top of your repo, okay? And we'll be good. Cool. Remember the chain of help. Try and solve a problem for 15 minutes. If that timer goes to 0, though, and you can't figure it out, ask GPT, okay? Google search. If that still doesn't work, ask Piazza and take it to office hours if that doesn't work, okay? Restrictions for assignments. There usually aren't that many. You can read the assignment spec, and it will tell you what to do and what not to do. In general, in this course, only use the dependencies that are provided in the spec. What do I mean by that? Well, let's see here. In this assignment spec, there's always going to be a dependencies section like this. It's usually in a box, and these are the dependencies that we want you to use in the course, okay? So we'll even tell you exactly what version we want you to get and integrate. If you use a dependency, if you're missing a dependency or you use an incorrect version, the autograder should tell you this. At the beginning of your grade reports, it'll kind of yell at you and say, hey, you're not using this dependency. You're probably going to miss test cases because of that. So be careful, okay? We also have a recommended git ignore. I think the autograder will automatically put this in your repo immediately, like before you've even gotten the repo. So I think you're good there, okay? All right. And one final ominous thing, okay? Remember, anything you submit to your repos or commit or publish, we will see, okay? It will be visible to us. You will not own your course repos. You cannot delete them. You will struggle to alter them. And so just please keep that in mind, okay? And at the end of the semester, we will hand the repos over to you, but not until we've done cheat detection and stuff like that, okay? So keep that in mind. Do the best you can, and you're going to be fine. Not a whole lot to worry about, okay? All right, any questions on homework 3? Yeah.
When did you say you're getting emails?
So as soon as I can get the autograders fully revived, I just haven't had time to go up and see them. It's probably going to be the next few days, okay? I'll try and have it done by at least Saturday. So you can play around, you can get the repo cloned, get ready, and rock and roll, okay? All right, so the last thing I want to talk about today is a really fun topic. I'm very proud of the autograder, actually. I hope that you will ask me questions about the autograder and how we built it. It was a journey and a half, okay? It was the first time we ran this course, I kid you not, at least 4 nights were like 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. days for me. And the 5 a.m. was usually me going to the office, fixing the autograder, and upgrading it for the next homework assignment, writing the next lecture coming the following morning. And it was nasty because I would go to sleep at about 5 a.m. and 494 office hours are 9 a.m. So I'd have to get up at 8. And so that really stunk, okay? I'm still recovering from that. All right, so let's talk about the autograder. It's one of my favorite things in this course. Hopefully it'll make this course easier to teach in the future and more pleasant for you to take now. But our autograder system, I think, is pretty nice. in a lot of ways, okay? In a lot of ways, this is a very familiar autograder, okay? Compared to, autograder.io, which was made, by the way, by my good friend James Peretta. Maybe he'll be coming back to U of M soon. I don't know, but we'll see. It compares text output to a designated staff output that is checked and verified to be correct, okay? It actually compares more than that, though, right? In the sense it's familiar, it's the 280, 281, 370 autograder. It also, like the 281 autograder, it considers performance and timing, okay? 281 style. In this class, in general, you must finish each test case within 25% of the time that the staff solution required, okay? So you don't have to match us exactly, but you do need to be close, or you need to beat us. If you go longer than 3 times the staff duration, then it'll just kill it, okay? It'll kill your running build, and it will give you a timeout, which you can see, for instance, right here. If you look here, you'll get the wall time, user time, kernel time. It looks like these two are actually broken for this build, this platform. But you see here, we actually beat the staff on test case 5.0, okay? You cleared it. You were faster than the staff. Excellent work. It runs your build about 10 times and then averages the amount of time it took, and that's the performance score you get. You submit via version control in this course, Git, okay? This is kind of 482, EECS 482 style. And you're going to want to check your email inbox over the next few days. I'll probably announce it when those should go out. You won't miss it, don't worry. Okay, it's going to be auto-created for you. Staff has access, the core staff owns your repo, so please do not try anything funny. All right, this is also a very unique autograder, okay? And one of those reasons is that it runs on Windows, Linux, and OS X. Your code and all your test cases will have to be passed on all of these. It sounds scary. It is slightly scary. It's not that bad, okay? I promise. But you will get grade reports that look like this, okay? You'll get information about which autograder did this grade report. You'll get a link to the GitLab commit. Okay, this is the commit that we graded. It'll tell you how long it took. It'll tell you where that time went. It'll tell you how long it took to build your project. This is going to go up, by the way. With every dependency you add, you'll start building slower and slower. That's just how it goes. You'll have Mac, Windows, and Linux. This is necessary for gauging the portability of your engine. I think this is actually wrong. I think by the end of last semester, it was the Linux autograder that was running fastest. But they all have different performance, okay, characteristics. We have 2 OS X autograders, 3 Windows, and 1 Linux. This is actually changing. We're going down to 2 Windows and 1 Linux. Last semester, the Linux one was in the cloud on an Amazon EC2 server. That was really expensive, and it didn't work that well. So now we're going to have a Linux box in my office running these, okay? For an assignment, each platform is worth 1/3 of your grade. So if you get everything working on Windows, that's great, but you only have 1/3 of the total points for the assignment. You need to port your stuff to the other 2 platforms to get the other 2/3, okay? All right, let's see. At the very end, you will get a little summary that looks like this. You've cleared 6 out of 45 test cases, or about 13%. You can get 17 points on OS X this semester, and that means that your Canvas grade is 2.27 out of 17, so that's an F. Congratulations, okay? All right, there's a hit point-based grading scheme here. This was an optimization we did to basically speed up auto grading and help get people graded faster. So you'll have hit points, and I think you've got like 10 or something. You've got quite a few. This is a bit out of date. But basically, you can see the grade report here. Every time you mess up a test case, one of your hearts will go away. And when you run out, the grading will conclude, okay? We'll say, hey, all right, that's good for now. You'll get your final grade, okay? And it will tell you, actually, hey, you didn't see 34 test cases, okay? And so you can resubmit, and you can go further and see more test cases by fixing your stuff up, okay? This is meant primarily to speed up grading so people can get responses faster. But you can think of this as 6 hearts means you can look 6 test cases into the future, okay? This is a pretty friendly autograder, and I'd say a very friendly one. There's no limit on your daily submissions, okay? We encourage you to submit. Earlier submissions are going to be prioritized. So if you get your submission in now and someone else comes in later, yours is going to go first, probably. There is a temporary penalty if you are spamming submissions. So if you are spamming submissions, you'll start getting delayed behind everyone else coming in. This is just to prevent you from bottlenecking the autograder toward the deadline. Okay, someone's trying to get their last thing graded, and you're coming in and you've got like 10 submissions. Okay, don't do that. Okay. You can expect a result about every 15 minutes or so unless it's very busy. And usually it only takes a few minutes, okay? Each test case, most of the test cases actually have a hint associated with them, okay? So if you're wondering, why am I failing this test case? Well, it's going to tell you that you have a line here, a divergence on line 1, okay, where it expected the engine to output this, but instead it output this, okay? Actually, no, your line was this, and it expected this, okay? If you're curious what this means, frame 2, autograder hit mix halt channel 0. This student engine accidentally played a sound effect on a frame 2, which it should not have done, okay? And so it busted. Purpose, a basic test of the intro image progression with click-through. So the student accidentally played a sound effect. For many of these test cases, you can even download the test case and run it locally if you want to kind of watch it fail, which really helps you fix things, okay? It's pretty good stuff. It expedites your testing. It's good stuff. Sometimes there are downloadable test cases, not always though, so you'll want to be careful. For the harder and longer assignments, the autograder is even kinder and it lets you download things, and it's very nice. Here's an introduction to your autograders, okay? You've got Mac Minis in here. You've got B-Links for the Windows and Linux station, and it's pretty good stuff. This is a very visual autograder in that when you make a mistake in general, maybe not on these first few text adventure assignments, but it'll actually show you what you messed up. An example, on this test case 3-4, I think this is homework number 6, okay? This is the student frame, okay? Which frame is this? This is frame number 100. The student engine fails, okay? It fails because the staff, okay, the correct solution has the character over here, and if you can see, the character is slightly more to the left in the student version. Basically, the student failed to implement movement properly, and the movement is like way smaller than it should be. How do you notice? Well, every test case is going to give you this hyperlink, and it's going to point you to a tool that will actually diff the image for you, and it will show you kind of what you messed up. This is really important because it's hard to know what went wrong unless it gets pointed out. Sometimes it's very subtle, okay? Okay, I'm going to show this to you here. It'll also give you footage, okay? So you can watch it fail as a video. So I'm going to ask you a question. Can you notice what's wrong here? I'll give you a hint, and the autograder tells you this. It failed on frame 100. So look at frame 100. On top is the student footage. On bottom is the instructor footage, and it fails on frame 100. What's that? Bingo. There's a hitch. Look at this right here. There's a very subtle hitch on frame 100. Boop, right? And that's how it fails. What happened in this particular case was the student incorrectly implemented the collision detection. And so this character, despite being horizontally very distant from this character, thinks that he's bumping into her, okay, and knocks him back a bit, okay? In reality, there should be no collision. It should be smooth all the way through, okay? And that's the kind of feedback you need to find and fix these issues when the output is so, I don't know, there's so much output. It's not just text, okay? It's visuals, it's sound, it's all this. I got a challenge for you, okay? What is the difference between these two frames? Okay, the student one is on the left, and on the right is the staff frame. The student lost their points, did not get the points for this test case. They made a mistake. These two frames are not the same.
Lower tile color looks a little off.
Which one?
Lower tile color looks off.
Nope. Good try though. Any ideas? Yes.
Is this for the dreaded fatal 2 pixel color?
Kind of. That's a different problem. So this one is definitely the student's fault. Does anyone see it? No? Okay, there's no way you're going to see it. Okay? Let me show you the answer. I'm going to click on the link. Here's the link. Do you see it yet? Let me zoom in a little bit. Do you see it? Do you see it?
Oh my god. 4 pixels.
Okay, now before you all drop the course, the problem here, the difference is that these 4 pixels, okay, on the student's version, I think the alpha channel is something like 253 out of 255, and it's supposed to be 254 out of 255, okay? So it's off by an imperceptible amount. Now, what causes this? What did the student mess up? Here's what they messed up. They were using the incorrect version of SDL. Okay? They were using a minor patch level different version of SDL than they're supposed to for the assignment. As a result, it's slightly different. Now, it's a really nasty bug, but the student didn't read the spec. These days, the auto grader will notice this and will actually point it out. Like, hey, you're using the wrong version of SDL. You got to go get the right version. They went and got the right version. Boom, full points. Okay? So this is to say that the course, this kind of thing will happen, but the course and the auto grader, they go to a lot of effort to try and help you out, help you get these points and notice these issues. Okay? So yeah, this stuff is tough. All right. So there's an online dashboard. It looks about like this. Okay. It actually looks a bit better than this now. It'll actually tell you what question it's grading as yours goes through. But you can get to this dashboard by going to the Canvas page. Okay. On the top of the Canvas page, there's the AutoGrader dashboard. You click on this and it will take you here. Okay. Now you can tell all the AutoGraders are dead, because their last ping is like super far in the distance. You know, this will update every 5 seconds or so, and it will tell you what am I grading now and where you are in the queue. It'll also tell you which auto grader is testing you. So we got 2 OS X boxes, we got 3 Windows, and 1 Linux. Okay. Does that mean that if you're mainly developing on Linux, you're going to have a tough time? It's going to take a long time to get graded? No. Because almost no one uses Linux. So you're probably going to have the Linux box all to yourself for much of the assignment, right? Until all the Windows users come rushing in at the last day to port their stuff. So keep that in mind. You want to move a bit faster. OS X and Linux doesn't have as much attention. But in general, there just wasn't a lot of waiting for anyone last semester, unless an auto grader died, because that does on occasion happen. I will say, I think we got the auto graders to a pretty stable point. After the semester ended, they lasted for about 1 month before they all died and went offline. It might have been like a power surge or something at campus, because I haven't configured them to reboot automatically. Hopefully I can do that this semester. We'll see. But anyway, your priority score is linked on the bottom of the auto grader dashboard for your commit. So you can see, okay, that's my priority score. That's why I'm waiting. Priority score is calculated this way. Older commits get priority. So the older your commit is, the more likely it is to run next. Spammers, if you're just doing tons in a small, short time, you will get whacked on your priority score. Okay, so your priority score will go down, and you might want to think about, trying out OS X or Linux Dev if you really want to avoid the crowds. But they're not that bad, I think. I think we're going to be fine. Yes?
Does spammer mean like every 15 minutes, or does spammer mean like every minute?
Spammer, I think, means I think the spamming penalty gets applied if you've got multiple submissions within the same 10 minutes. But this is not a huge deal because you're still going to get in. So here's a quick thing. If the AutoGrader's last ping time, you see how this says last update from AutoGrader, 37 seconds, 1 minute, 47 seconds. If that ever gets over 20 minutes, you should probably DM me or email me because the AutoGrader's probably dead, okay? You can actually, you can use the other AutoGraders so long as you're not a Linux user. You can get the other AutoGraders that are still working to accept your submission. But you get assigned to an AutoGrader randomly. So you might have to submit actually a couple times before the living AutoGrader finds your stuff and pulls it down. You can do that if you want. Not a huge deal, okay? So any questions? Any questions on the AutoGrader? Yes?
How do you measure time and memory in the AutoGrader?
So with memory, we don't do that.
I mean, how do they, in general?
In general?
Yeah.
So certain operating systems provide nice utilities and features that allow you to monitor a process and kind of what resources it's consuming, how much CPU it's consuming, how many cycles it's consuming, how much time it's consuming, how much memory. C#, which is what the AutoGrader is written in, provides some APIs that help you do this. But it really depends what operating system you're on. And some of the operating systems just don't do this well. So for time, it's not too hard because we are going to run only your program. We're only going to run your build at any given time. We do not run multiple builds in parallel. So it's pretty easy to say, what's the current time of day? Hey, we just finished auto-grading. What's the current time of day? Take the difference, and that's your wall time, or it should be. So that's part of it. In general, with timing, we run your program 10 times at least, and then we average, or I think we actually take the median, and that is your official time. We do the same thing with the instructor time, okay, to calculate how fast we go. So that's that's the level of knowledge I have for how operating systems facilitate this. But I thought about putting memory caps on. You have to make an engine that's fast and uses very little memory. But the memory tracking facilities I was able to get access to through C#, just not good, not accurate at all. So it's just not a thing in the course right now. Yeah.
So I assume that uses Clang, right?
It uses, yeah. So the official compiler, and the AutoGrader guide will tell you about this, but the official compiler is Clang. Yep. So Clang++, not GCC.
Do you also use Clang on Windows and Linux?
Windows, the build system is Microsoft Build, or Microsoft Build, I think. MS Build. Yes, MS Build. Yep. It uses Visual Studio, MS Build, and then on Xcode, it uses Xcode Build.
Which is Clang?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
And on Linux, it's also Clang?
Yeah, on Linux, it's also Clang. So if you're used to using G++ in your makefile, you're going to have some pain if you accidentally do this. But I can't remember if the AutoGrader points that out or not. I think that was the feature I was going to add. If you accidentally put G++ in your makefile, it puts a warning up, hey, we don't do that in this course. Any other questions? 1 minute left. Your homework number 2 is due on Monday, okay? It is not a super hard assignment, but, depending on how much experience you have doing your own collisions, okay, depending on which engines you choose, you might run into a few speed bumps, okay? It looks like people are getting through it just fine. That exhibition channel is starting to fill up. But don't feel bad if you run into some friction, okay? Don't feel bad if you get delayed on a few things. We can probably help you if you bring it to office hours. I'm going to be here for the next 2 hours from 6 to 8, okay? So I'd be happy to help you. Quick announcement, if you have earned a sticker by getting to the end of the the east498.com web game. You can come get your sticker now. The sticker for the other ending, the bad ending, like they're in USPS hell right now. They're like trapped in Arkansas and they're just not moving. So I'm not sure when I'm going to have those, but when I do, you can get those as well. Okay. What's that?
They sent my stuff to LA.
Oh no. Oh no. I hope not. I hope not. Okay. All right. Any final questions? Anyone? Did I miss anything? Let's look through this. The auto graders should all be coming to life soon. And I'll go through and give you back points if you messed up that question on the quiz, okay? All right, everyone, have a fantastic week. Have a fantastic weekend. And I'll see you back here, not Monday, but on Wednesday, okay? See you then. All right. Hey, everyone online, I will see you later, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.